JoJo Siwa's latest rebrand feels less like a transformation and more like tossing a glitter bomb into a microwave. Just when it seemed like she'd finally settled into one version of herself. Boom! New hair, new sound, new persona, and another identity crisis unlocked. Watching it unfold feels like someone rapidly cycling through personalities the way she once cycled through rhinestone outfits. Fast, chaotic, and not exactly high quality. One week, she's a rainbow-soaked queer icon. The next, she's claiming the LGBTQ plus community pressured her into coming out in the first place. But before we break down the absolute derailment that is JoJo Siwa version 8.0, we need to rewind, because this isn't just a flop. This is a slow-motion identity collapse years in the making, seemingly orchestrated by a branding team that hasn't seen sunlight since 2016. Long before JoJo became a walking PR nightmare, she was a human glitter grenade on Dance Moms. She had more energy than a 4-drip of Red Bull and was clearly being prepped for fame before she could even spell career. Her mom wasn't just raising a kid. She was assembling a full-blown child star of Ultron. By the time JoJo landed on Nickelodeon, she had built a pastel empire of bows, lunchboxes, toothbrushes. If it existed, her face was probably on it. Sure, it was cringy, but kids loved it. Parents tolerated it. And the money? Oh, the money was flowing. Then JoJo grew up, and suddenly, being the sparkly bow girl wasn't enough. She wanted to be edgy, mature, and cool. Somewhere in that messy transition, she completely lost the plot, and most of her audience along with it. At first, things seemed promising. She came out as part of the LGBTQ plus community, chopped off her ponytail, embraced a new look, and positioned herself as a fresh voice for queer teens. For a brief moment, she actually had the girls, the gays, and the theys locked in. But in classic JoJo fashion, she took it too far. She started calling herself the inventor of a new genre, gay pop. Not Lady Gaga, not Elton John, not Freddie Mercury. JoJo Siwa, the same person who once sang about boomerangs while wearing candy necklaces like protective gear. Instead of letting her music speak for itself, she loudly announced, "I'm edgy now," and dropped a song called Karma that sounded like a parody from Black Mirror. To make it worse, she didn't even write it. She bought it and acted like it was her personal artistic breakthrough. You can't claim to invent a genre and then outsource the music. That's like calling yourself a chef while ordering Uber Eats for every meal. Things really spiraled when JoJo began publicly walking back every identity she had marketed so aggressively. After branding herself as a proud lesbian, she suddenly dropped a twist. She's not lesbian, she's queer. And according to her, she only used the lesbian label because she felt pressured by the LGBTQ plus community. So let's recap. One moment, she's waving rainbow flags. The next, she's allegedly cheating on her partner on national television and flirting with a man like it's a mid-season Riverdale plot twist. At this point, it's not just confusing, it's emotional whiplash. This is where everything got especially messy. JoJo joined Celebrity Big Brother UK as part of what was supposed to be a mature rebrand. And by mature, we mean unhinged. Midway through the season, she started openly flirting with a straight guy named Chris Hughes while her non-binary partner waited back home. The internet noticed immediately, and instead of clarifying, JoJo doubled down on camera, reiterating that she's not a lesbian and that she only said she was due to pressure. As if that wasn't chaotic enough, she then attempted to revive her music career with a cover of Betty Davis' Eyes. And when we say cover, we mean the song was strangled by auto-tune until it begged for mercy. People genuinely thought it was AI-generated. One commenter said she sounded like a haunted Furby. Another asked if the track was an anti-smoking PSA. The comments weren't just brutal, they were art. Her TikTok teasers pulled in over 22 million views, but only about 400,000 likes. That sounded impressive until you realize the top 2 comments had more likes than the video itself. That's not engagement. That's a digital intervention. And the wildest part? JoJo isn't slowing down. She's doubling down. More TikToks. More chaotic outfits. More music that sounds like it was filtered through a broken vape. Her current aesthetic feels like a rejected backup dancer from a pride parade in The Sims. At this point, she's alienated her queer fan base, confused straight audiences, and completely lost her child viewers. Nobody's tuning in because they love the music anymore. They're watching because it feels like a public meltdown masquerading as performance art. Then came the real bombshell. Rolling Stone exposed allegations surrounding JoJo's girl group, XOMG Pop. According to reports, the kids were overworked, forced to perform while injured, and treated like glitter-covered machines. One child allegedly danced with a spinal surgery wound. Another reportedly had to wear a pad during a show to avoid bleeding through her costume. And JoJo's mom was allegedly at the center of it all, telling literal children they deserved nothing. So while JoJo was busy rebranding herself as the patron saint of gay pop, her empire was being accused of exploiting minors. At this point, JoJo and her mom are starting to look like the glitter-coated Kris Jenners of child labor. Which brings us to the big question. What now? Her music is flopping. Her LGBTQ plus audience has checked out. Her brand is stained by exploitation allegations. And the general public is somewhere between confused and horrified. She's not the edgy rebel her team tried to sell. She's not the kid pop princess anymore. And she's definitely not the empowered face of G-pop she once claimed to be. What we're witnessing isn't a rebrand. It's the slow unraveling of someone who was never allowed to simply exist without a marketing strategy attached. If JoJo had just paused, taken time to figure out who she actually was instead of chasing aesthetics for clicks, maybe none of this would have been so painfully embarrassing. But here we are. JoJo's gone through more brand phases than Starbucks holiday cups, and now her rebrand feels less like a comeback and more like a cautionary tale. So what do you think? Can JoJo recover from this? Or is this her final form? The Gen Z version of Rebecca Black, just with worse PR? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.